Lesson 2F, Cell Transport via Diffusion. Remember, each cell is wrapped in a lipid bilayer membrane. This membrane restricts what can enter and exit the cell. Between each phospholipid is a space that allows small items like CO2, which is 3 atoms big, O2, which is only 2 atoms big, and NH3, 3 atoms big, to pass through without restriction. These gases pass through the membrane via simple diffusion. Water, which is also 3 atoms big, does not pass as freely through the membrane, as it is polar, and so is the phosphate heads, which restricts passage of anything with a charge, like water or ions. The lipid tails that make the inner part of the cell membrane also prevent water from passing through the membrane, because they are hydrophobic. Only small, non-polar molecules can pass through the membrane freely. All our molecules must find another way to pass. Water, for example, uses a channel protein. This is a protein that has a simple hole through its middle, allowing any molecule that fits freely to flow in or out, regardless of its polarity or charge. Water will move in and out of the cell via simple osmosis. Larger charged molecules must have a mechanism to enter as well. If you remember from a few lessons ago, there are a number of membrane-bound proteins, and some of these proteins are used to help transport material in and out of the cell, a process called facilitated diffusion. These proteins can be like open channel proteins that lets water or anything else that fits to flow freely through. Or these proteins can carry specific items called carrier proteins. As mentioned earlier, these proteins can be like open channel proteins that let items flow freely through, or they can be ligand-gated carrier proteins that require a chemical, like a neurotransmitter, to allow for the gate to open. Another type of protein is the mechanically gated protein that will open or close due to the pressure on the membrane, while another yet is the voltage-gated protein channel that opens or closes due to an exposure to an ion or an electrical charge, which we see in our nerve cells, which transmit electrical impulses. All of these function without the use of ATP, and the flow of material through them is due to the diffusion of material down their gradients from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. They're considered passive transport. This video demonstrates facilitated diffusion. This carrier protein fits a specific molecule or ion. When it binds that specific item, it will have a conformational change, which will allow for the particle to move down the concentration gradient from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. As mentioned earlier, the conformational change may require a chemical, pressure, or electrical signal to allow for the passage of the particle. It does not require ATP and will occur passively. The flow of particles such as amino acids, ions, proteins, or the like will be down the gradient. So that will mean out of the cell if the concentration of the particle is higher in the cell than the interstitial fluid that surrounds the cell, and vice versa.